What's going on, everybody? My name's LeakyTapsMan, and this is another wishlist video where I tell you guys what I'd like to see in the sequel to an established game, and this week I'm going to go for Viva Piñata 3. Viva Piñata was probably my biggest guilty pleasure on the 360. I absolutely adore the game. I think it's great. I love the art style. I love the fact that it's just chilled out and you can play at your own pace. It is literally the definition of a Marmite game. You either love it or you hate it. But luckily I'm of the former inclination, and basically this video just summarises what I'd like to see in a third Viva Piñata game. I'm gonna disregard the Party Animals game, seeing as it wasn't a proper gardening simulator, shall we say. And I'm just gonna basically give a rundown of the features and ideas that I think could take the series to the next level. And one main idea in particular that I think personally could give the series a much needed shot in the arm is the ability to create our own piñata. I think something akin to Spore, where you create your own creature, allow other people to download them, give them their own attributes, allow people to set the requirements for their evolution, say give them an animal type, just set their dimensions, everything that you'd expect in kind of like a character creator. Allow it for a piñata creator. I think user created content is a huge feature, and it can't be understated how important something like that could be. As we've seen with games like Little Big Planet, it can make a huge difference and give the game extra longevity. Something else I would like to see is to start the game with some actual new piñatas instead of the same handful that we got in Trouble in Paradise. For me, it was a bit of a downer that we started with the worm types and the bunnies and all that stuff. For me, Trouble in Paradise was a bit underwhelming at the beginning because we had a lot of the same piñatas that we started the original game with, and it made it feel a lot like its predecessor as a result. So it should be more akin to Pokemon, where each time you start a new game, you're introduced to entirely new creatures, and then you start to see the old ones later down the line, because otherwise the game has a feeling of being more of an expansion than a full-blown sequel, which Trouble in Paradise felt like, in all honesty. I would also like to really see more expansion in the piñata types themselves. There is a lot of variety, especially in Trouble in Paradise. I'd just like to see that expanded further to include stuff like deep sea creatures, creatures that are in the barrier reef, and just really push the amount of piñatas that we can get, because it all boils down to longevity, and adding more to the game obviously makes us play it for longer. And one thing that I think Viva Piñata excels at that I'd love to see more of is experimentation by feeding our piñatas like certain items to evolve. I think that's such a good feature, and I'd love to see that expanded upon and just really take the ball and roll with it. And although a lot of people avoid it like the plague, I would like to see some kind of Kinect integration. Nothing substantial to the point where you can't play without a Kinect, but switching between tools with voice commands or purchasing items or even navigating menus, I'd just like to see some kind of integration with the hardware, because it's certainly a game that can take advantage of some of the features, if not a lot of them. And considering the recent announcement of Smart Glass, this is a game that could definitely take advantage of that technology. For those of you unaware of what Smart Glass is, it's basically just getting a tablet or a phone and having it as a companion tool to your gaming experience. So in regards to Viva Piñata, I would like to see information about a piñata that I've highlighted on the game down on my tablet or phone, and then say a list of items that could be used to transform it, or clues to transform it, maybe not spelling it out for you. But considering the slow-paced nature of the game and the fact that it can be used to add to the experience rather than feeling like it's tacked on, I think Smart Glass is something that really might benefit the game. And another thing I'd like to see is the inclusion of some kind of leaderboards. Now, I know by its nature, Viva Piñata is not a competitive game in the slightest. That said, I think leaderboards just give you that little bit of bragging rights. They let you show off your gardens, the value of your gardens, the values of your piñatas. Just gives that extra incentive to keep on playing and keep improving what you've got. And adding a little bit of a competitive element can't hurt the game, especially if it's optional like leaderboards are, really. And it just gives that game an extra little dimension. And one thing I would definitely like is bigger gardens, because even the largest gardens felt far too small in my opinion. It got to a point where we were just like dictators and we were committing genocide to the piñatas that we did not value. I don't know how many poor worms I killed to make way for my other better piñatas, but it was far too many, so I'd like to see bigger gardens that can actually handle some more piñatas. And finally, a few minor points, but stuff that I'd still like to see. A bona fide weapon for staving off sour piñatas, because they are just an absolute pain in the backside. And if not getting rid of the ruffians, then decreasing their amount, because they are also a pain in the backside. And finally, more streamlined menus when you're buying items and services. I think the whole rotating cogs, wheels, whatever it is a bit cumbersome and it takes far too long to get to the item that you want. As I say, something minor, but definitely an improvement that can be done. So that pretty much summarises what I would like to see in a third Viva Piñata game. As always, I'd love to hear your opinions, what you'd like to see in the game, what ideas and features you think can take it to the next level, whether you agree with my opinions, whether you don't agree with them. Just basically drop a comment and I'll be sure to read it. So if you liked the video, then I'd appreciate you hitting the like button, it means a lot. If you like any of my ideologies, then be sure to subscribe, I have a lot of videos akin to this one. And thanks for watching, have a nice day.